Boyneside, one of the longest established pirates, broadcasts from a small building not a stone's throw from the customs station at Killeen. It's one of the few to have experienced the force of the law.
Well, we were raided 12 months ago, and the court actually was on the same day to the year, 14th of April. We went to court and we were charged with, I think we had about 10 different offences against us, but we accepted a plea of guilty to one, for which the one was for broadcasting, and we were fined £20. That's £20 for 10 years broadcasting. We got all our equipment back except the transmitter. The basic equipment, there was two full studios, which was returned to us, which had to be collected after the court in the Guards Barracks in Drogheda. It was collected by our chief engineer, Hetty Eddy. The Department of Communications chaps was there with him, and they all retired to the pub for a drink.
The British authorities, however, take an altogether dimmer view of their pirates. Each year, the Department of Trade and Industry takes about 80 to court. Last year, 75 were convicted and fined on average £230, but more importantly, most had their equipment confiscated. In Ireland, the pirates steer clear of politics, concentrate on music, promote local charities, and are generally careful not to provoke the authorities. Are you actually broadcasting from the Antrim Boat Club today?
Absolutely not, because that's not allowed. It's not within the law.
Ah, but you are broadcasting then from the south of Ireland, from the Republic of Ireland?
Indeed we are, yes.
Is it not also against the law to broadcast from there?
Yes, but it's a law that hasn't been enforced for almost 10 years. And we're in a situation where regularisation of the broadcasting will actually happen in the Republic, and we want to be part of that regularised system. And we will be applying for a licence in the Republic.
The government's reluctance to curb the pirate expansion has kept this man in a job. Jerry O'Reilly, otherwise known as the Pirate King, will assemble and maintain transmitters, masts and studio equipment for anyone with around £5,000 to spend. It's hardly a high-tech service. Many of the stations he's put together along the border use pre-World War II equipment with valves imported from the Soviet Union. When we caught up with him, he was at work in a cowshed outside Buncrana, servicing Northwest Community Radio's transmitter. Unlike most of their rivals, NWCR attempt to offer more than wall-to-wall music. They claim to provide a community service.
Now, last week we were talking to Mary about pregnancy. So one of the things that came up was the chronic heartburn.
But they're also a commercial enterprise built on advertising, and that's getting harder to find as other pirates muscle in on their patch.
We're a year and a half on our own, and now there's 8 other stations. Okay, most of them are only in FM, and don't mean a lot. But they've all got onto the cake, as you'd say. You know?
So you're surviving on the revenue you get from advertising?
No, we run an awful lot of functions, dances and concerts, and that's what's keeping us going at the moment. And DJs are mostly voluntary, and they make their money from doing discos and public performances and that type of thing.
People think there's an awful lot of money in pirate radio stations. Actually, there's not. You have difficulty even meeting your wages.
Well, I mean, you've got 8 or 9 DJs to pay, you've got rent to pay, you've electric. And are we paying for the electric of all these big lights here? Because that's our profit gone for the next 6 months. But
you might get more out of it.
No, but it's, I'll tell you what it is at the moment. There's an awful lot of radio stations.
Yeah.
There's about 6 in this area, and everybody's fighting for the same bit of business. So it's not as profitable as it, was a while back. It's survival of the fittest. And having said that, for the fittest, you have to have something to offer the people.
That something, in Rainbow's case, seems to be a strong link with the local community. Although they broadcast from a former pigsty just over the border, both men enjoy a certain celebrity status in Newry, and there are good reasons for that.
Well, there you are, little Hugo Duncan, the wee man from Strabane, and Patsy McCann.
Oliver McMahon, Big O, has been a pirate broadcaster for years, while Eugene Markey's day job happens to be chairman of Newry Council.
Everybody identifies with who the request is. It's Mrs. So-and-so up the road, or Mrs. So-and-so had a baby, or somebody's going to America, and they can immediately identify with them.
I walk down the street, and I meet these people, and it's great cracking. How are you, Ollie? Good lad, slap on the back and stuff like that. And I'll slap the back and say, how are you? You get the impression of the BBC, oh, they're snobs. You know what I mean? The local people do get that impression. You know what I mean? Whereas we're just ordinary. I'm the boy next door. That's your man.
Why do you listen to Rainbow on a Sunday?
Big O's on.
Who's Big O?
Big O.
Why do you like Rainbow?
I think because we know Big O first, or like, you know.
Is the crack good?
Well, usually Big O's good.
What do you think they've got that Downtown Radio or Radio Ulster wouldn't have?
Well, it's more for the younger people.
We listen to Bourneside because they always know someone on it, you know. You meet someone from the area is always on speaking of that, you know.
Now, still to come in this hour, favours coming up from Belinda Carlisle. We've got Thomas Dolby, S Express, Toto, and lots more between now and 4 o'clock on KISS 103.7.
KISS FM's emphasis is anything but local. They're targeting the Belfast area with a rock and pop service presented mainly by experienced DJs. KISS FM's claim to have a stronger signal than Downtown Radio would appear to be borne out. This is KISS FM, and farther down the dial, this is Downtown Radio, which is a considerably weaker signal. Unfettered by broadcasting regulations, they're boosting their signal well beyond the limits which the IBA impose on Downtown. They claim to have spent £25,000 on this transmitter site alone, and several £100,000 on the entire enterprise. For the moment, the IBA and the BBC profess to be unconcerned, perhaps looking to the new Southern legislation to provide a solution.
The indications at the moment are that discussions between the whips are trying to arrange that the legislation will pass through the Dáil before the summer recess. In other words, sometime in the next 6 weeks. Whether or not it would get into and through the Senate, then also before the summer recess, is a moot point. But we've all ministers have tried to get this legislation through before, and each time it has failed for different reasons. This time the bills were published in October of last year. The minister indicated that he hoped to have them passed by Christmas, and then by Easter, and now by summer. So I wouldn't really like to, bet my bottom dollar on when it will be passed, but hopefully soon.
But if that legislation comes soon, what will the future be for the pirates? The Irish government has said they will be able to apply for licences, so there's the possibility that these border stations will become legitimate overnight, free to continue targeting the Northern Ireland audience.
That's something that only the Home Office will be able to work out with the Department of Communications here on very technical specifications. But I think there's bound to be some spillover no matter what happens. And if there is a spillover, then I think it'll just mean more competition. We live in an age when broadcasting is becoming more and more broken up. There are more and more stations within Britain, within Ireland and internationally. There's going to be more competition. I think RT has been too conservative, in fact, about chasing the northern audience, whether it's nationalist or whether it's loyalist. And perhaps these stations, oddly enough, even though they probably have no politics whatsoever except the politics of money, may be a lot better at actually getting after that audience and capturing it from the BBC and from Downtown Radio.
Will be Mr. Justice Seamus Henchy, who's to resign as a judge of the Supreme Court. One of the country's most eminent judges, he was appointed to the High Court in 1962 and to the Supreme Court 10 years later. The other members are Mr. Vivian Murray, Chief Executive of the Irish Goods Council and a member of a number of marketing bodies. Mr. Fred O'Donovan, a former chairman of the RTE Authority, who's been involved for many years in the entertainment business. Mr. Donal O'Sullivan, Programme Manager with the Southern Health Board, who's held senior positions in the GAA. Mr. Kieran Mulvey, who as General Secretary of the ASTI is one of the country's best-known trade union officials. Also on the Commission are Ms. Terry Prone, a Director of Car Communications and a well-known author and journalist. Mr. Frank Cullen, who has an advertising and public relations company. Ms. Gillian Bowler, Managing Director of Budget Travel. Mr. Donagh O'Donoghue, a Galway businessman who has banking and telecommunications interests. And barrister and broadcaster Liam Devalley. The Commission will meet on Monday and will be hoping to get the new national television and radio services as well as city and country radio stations up and running by the end of next year. And in a second phase of licensing, up to 200 VHF frequencies will be available for town and neighbourhood stations.
The High Court in Dublin has been told Pernod Ricard's takeover bid for Irish distillers had